Matt, first things first, I think it's great news as the results of the COVID tests. No more negatives in the camp, which is a huge relief, I imagine.
Yeah, certainly on where we were Tuesday, where we expected Josh Key's results to come back positive, to be honest with you. So that was a huge plus on the Wednesday. And obviously since then, the lads have been tested again this morning and all come back negative. So at the moment, we feel in a better place than when we were 48 hours ago. The key thing now is to keep going down that right track and keep supporting the ones who are away with COVID, doing that the best we possibly can, and then preparing for the weekend.
I think you had the original concern that it may be spreading within the group, but it looks like it may just be cases that have come from...
Yeah, I think I used the line, if it's sporadic and from the outside, then, we can keep continuing. But with Josh Key's example, because he sat next to Sam on Saturday and had the same symptoms, you assume, you put two and two together. We expected that to be a similar outcome to Sam Nombe, but luckily it wasn't, and thankfully it wasn't. Still not ideal, because if there's another virus of some sort, whether it's sore throats or a cough or a cold, then it's the same symptoms as COVID, and we've just got to keep on responding accordingly, with the players' health at the forefront of our minds. But we feel we've dealt with it as best we can this week. As much as we were panicked and worrying about what was next on Tuesday, we're in a lot better position now, and all our minds are focused on this weekend and travelling safely up to Leyton Orient tomorrow and playing the game on Saturday.
I think you said on Tuesday, didn't you, that you'd prepare for the game as normal, but it mustn't be a nice headache to have, wondering whether it will go ahead at all.
Yeah, it's not just a headache, it's the unavailable players. Josh Key missed Tuesday, rightly so, because we were unsure of what was to come in relation to that, and obviously other players that are missing. So we know the squad's a little bit thin with injuries anyway, and then you throw the COVID situation into it. It's certainly not ideal, but I think he's got to continue. We know the numbers and the data being shown in around the southwest and Devon, and certainly in Exeter is worrying in relation to COVID cases. So he's out there in society, and I've got a group of young men who are socially active. So it's got to keep on continuing. We've just got to keep on reacting to what happens, whenever it happens, really. And I hope that when it does become apparent that there's cases within our team, that they just stay within one or two cases, and they certainly don't grow into clusters.
So aside from the players that obviously sadly have COVID, how is the squad looking? Did Tim Dien come through that injury at the end okay?
Yeah, he took a hell of a bang in the last minute. A collision on the edge of the box, which obviously led to Benno's penalty appeal. He's been sore. He's done a little bit today. We'll assess him tomorrow. Jonathan Ground's the same in terms of stiffness and a real tightness in a certain area of his body on the back of the 90 minutes at the weekend and half an hour on Tuesday. On the back of Archie Collins being unavailable, and obviously Josh Coley and Sam Stubbs, and then some of the younger ones who probably wouldn't be featuring but would have got a chance on Tuesday in terms of Nelson, Izagwen and Jack Arthur. So injury-wise, not in the best position, but certainly not too dramatic on the back of the week.
Orient, obviously, I know you watched their game against QPR last night, and they probably should have won that. What do you make of that game?
Hey, old cliche game of two halves, really. QPR showed their class in the first half and dominated the game and dominated the ball. Leyton Orient just became more aggressive as the game went on, more purposeful in their play, both in and out of possession, and probably deserved to win that game of football. It was probably a similar pattern to ourselves on Tuesday, where both lower league teams, so to speak, got better and grew stronger as the game went on. Maybe on opposition changes, and then to lose both to penalty shootouts is always disappointing. Credible performances, but no wins at the end of the day. So both looking for the same thing on Saturday, which will be 3 points, and a return for the efforts which have been put in so far this season.
In one of our earlier conversations, Leyton Orient were one of the sides that you said you expected to do well this season. Has their recruitment really impressed you over the summer? Yeah,
and they've got a couple with COVID or injury-wise as well, so they're not at their full strength similar to ourselves as yet, and I'm sure they'll keep recruiting and keep getting stronger. A really experienced manager, a lot of know-how at this level and the levels above, and a really good understanding of how to set up a team. So we do expect them to be stronger than they were last season, and to improve, and it will all depend on how the rest of the league table shapes up, I suppose. But judging by their game against Salford, first game of the season, and obviously we all know and what to expect from Salford this season, they were really impressive, and anyone who watched it, similar to ourselves on Tuesday, would have been impressed again. So you feel they're moving in the right direction, but we've got to be mindful, and I'm pleased with where we are at the moment. a lot of good positive starts to Exeter City careers. We spoke about the 6 debuts on Saturday. So in defensive positions and goalkeeping positions, I've kept 2 clean sheets. So we've looked really strong in that respect. And there's a lot more to come from us in an attacking sense. That will be affected by personnel returning, but also more confidence within the ranks as well.
You mentioned the attacking now. Obviously, Podrick Armand coming in the week. Is he ready to come straight into the side, or is he not quite there yet?
Yeah, look, he's trained today. He's done a pre-season. He might not have had the most amount of 90 minutes within that pre-season as he'd have liked or what we'd have liked, but he's a fit bloke. He's a fit lad in relation to the bits and pieces, what we've seen so far and judging by what he's done today on Tuesday. So he comes straight into the reckoning for the weekend and a player with added experience, added know-how and understanding of the levels, but also a slightly different dynamic to what we've got already at the top end of the pitch.
And finally, it looks like there's going to be a really good turnout from the away supporters. The initial 500 tickets sold out in just a few days, and there'll be even more buying on the day. So it's going to be a cracking atmosphere in that away end.
Fantastic. Last weekend at home to Bradford felt like a proper game at the park. I expect the fixture at Leyton Orient to feel like a proper away game for our supporters, and certainly for our team as well. We're so well supported on our travels. And to see any noise or pockets of supporters or stands full would be absolutely brilliant for us. Those players run out at the weekend. We know it's a long way wherever we go away from home, and Leyton Orient's no different in relation to that. But to see what our fans are doing at the moment in terms of supporting this team is second to none, and we're so pleased in relation to that. And we'll be looking to put in a good performance this weekend.
I mean, it's near on 16, 17 months since they last had a proper away day. So
cast your mind back to, was it Walsall? Where anyone who was at Walsall that day, was it, like you say, 17, 18 months ago, a different type of game, different feel to it. We were down and then we were up, and then it was taken away from us and then we ended up down that day. So not a nice memory and not one we can look back on fondly, but there's no reason why we can't change that and make Saturday our most recent memory, something they've not been able to do for so long in terms of supporting us away from home. And like I say, we like playing in front of our home fans. We like playing in front of our away fans. And when we go in numbers, it just shows our unity as a club.